From Stellenbosch, let's move over to East Africa. In Kenya, for example, over 200,000 tourists come to this country every year to view the wildlife, spend time with the beaches, and of course enjoy some of the epic scenery we have in this country. Tourism is Kenya's second largest source of foreign exchange revenue. But if you don't have the time to take a safari or fly down to the coast, there's still some really good spots to visit in and around the capital. Maria Galang has the details.
Although many destinations lie outside Kenya's capital, Nairobi also has a lot to offer, especially for the time-bound. So just what can one see in just a day? The top attraction would be the Nairobi National Park. The Nairobi National Park is the only game reserve in the world that's just 7 kilometers from the city center.
Come into such a serene place within such a short distance is what is the selling mark for Nairobi National Park. And for tourists who come here, we know that they come here for meetings. There are a lot of conferences. Recently we've had a lot of conferences. They may not have a lot of time in the country, but this is the open window. This is the window that tells you what Kenya has. Because we have all the habitats displayed here. We have the wetlands, we have the mountain section, we have the savannas. We have had visitors who actually come from their hotel, go through the park, out of Eastgate and straight into the airport.
The park is home to 4 out of Kenya's famous Big Five. And just outside the park is the Animal Orphanage. It serves as a treatment and rehabilitation center for wild animals, including Kenya's big cats. And if you want a nice, historic, relaxing end to your day, the Nairobi Railway Museum is the place to come. Just a short walk from the city centre, the museum is home to a collection of old locomotives which date as far back as 1907.
So this engine is of very historical significance, and it was used to act the movie Out of Africa. The lady who acted the movie was called Karen Blixen, whose house today in Karen has been donated to National Museums of Kenya. So many tourists used to come here so that they can view this engine because it is associated with Karen. Maybe from their home countries, they come and view the engine at this museum.
Although not many know of the museum's existence, visitor numbers have grown significantly in recent years, attracting those who want to take a step back in time.
Historic seats. This seat was used in front of the engine, and people who were seated there were not Tom, Dick and Harry. It was meant for dignitaries. So one of the dignitaries that used it was the then President of USA, Theodore Roosevelt. So while they were seated there, they could enjoy the cool breeze and also see the natural environment and also hunt wild animals.
So, with a few hours to spare, one can get up close with nature as well as travel back to the past, all within Kenya's bustling capital. Maria Galang, CCTV, Nairobi, Kenya.
Right then, let's try and dig deep into exactly what the East African travel market is like. Cyrus Onyago is the country manager for Jumia Travel Operations in Kenya. He joins me in studio right now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's start with some headline numbers though. Give us a sense of the sort of traffic that goes through your booking platform, especially on a year-to-year basis. How many rooms are booked and how's that traffic changed especially in the first half of 2016?
Actually, when you look at this year compared to the previous year, we've seen a positive improvement, and this one is basically because major conferences which have happened in Nairobi, and we've seen a big traffic specifically to Nairobi and also the Kenya coast during Easter holiday, especially during the first half. So we've seen bookings growing month on month, and it is really important because it was not a big pattern specifically during May, because when you look at May, sometimes it's a low season, and during this time we were doing so many conferences within Nairobi. So as a result, Kenya was seen as a leisure market, but today we are mixing leisure and business. As a result, now we are having more balanced tourism travel across the country.
What's the balance between foreign bookings and local bookings? Because most of the time when we talk about tourism in this place, it's usually, we've got guys coming in from South Africa, Europe, the United States, that sort of thing. But what about the local market? Are guys using this application?
Yeah, it is working today. When we look at before 2013, many hoteliers relied much on international travel. But after 2013, you understand the negative publicity which happened specifically because of the tourism, terrorism which happened in the country. As a result, we lost quite a lot in the international travel. So that's when we launched in Kenya specifically as Jumia Travel, and now we encourage the local travelers to start traveling. And what we did, we were able to come with local resident rates, such that customers are able to book through our platform with local resident rates. At the same time, we are trying to achieve flexibility by giving them cheaper accommodation. When you look at specifically for the coast, many people thought there are only big hotels in the coast, but there are so many all-day homes and villas, which the local resident market really want to book, specifically the youth. They are really interested in this, and this is a very good trend which is happening currently.
Let's just pedal back a bit, because before, when you guys launched, you were Jovago.
Yes.
And then sometime, I believe in the course of this year, you rebranded.
We rebranded,
and
yes.
then got rolled into the whole Jumia brand. How's that transition going? Is client retention, client awareness still at the same level? Has it gone up?
Yeah, it's the same level. When we look at the reason why we had to rebrand is because we wanted to leverage on one brand. And our sister companies, Jumia Mall, Jumia Market, we had to bring it into one brand known as Jumia. There before it was Jumia, Lamudi, Hello Food, and Jovago are separate. And the customers used to see these as a separate thing. But when you bring all these products together, sometimes it works closely. For example, you have a tourist who wants to travel to the coast. Yeah. They need room accommodation. They need to book a flight also. Sometimes they need some even sunglasses or camera. So if they combine this from one platform, on Jumia platform, they can acquire all this, and they can be able to pay at once rather than going to different websites. Positively also mentioning, when we look at traffic to the hotels, most customers didn't know, because they are on Jumia, they can still book accommodation. So anybody who was able to book accommodation can buy something on Jumia Mall, and somebody who was buying like a phone, for example, can still be able to afford travel through Jumia Travel. I think it's the combination of a product which is making it much simpler and leveraging on one traffic and also improving customer experience.
Speaking of which, let's talk about that scalability, because it's one thing that the company that owns you guys, Rocket Internet, tends to talk about and play up quite a bit. There are two interesting trends I'm looking at here. On one hand, you've got guys like Airbnb. They have had a pretty big splash in South Africa. I think about 9,000 homes there, and they're slowly creeping into other markets, West Africa, North Africa, and of course down here in East Africa as well. And then on top of that, what about integrating the booking process across the board? So if I'm booking a holiday with one click, it covers everything from booking the bus, the hotel, and of course if I need a Uber on the other end, wherever I do arrive, all of that is integrated into one package. Is that part of the growth plan you guys have?
Yeah, first it's part of the growth plan. So far we are going to launch flights on our website. It means people will be able to book their air ticket directly on our website, combined with accommodation. And today we launched packages. Now we'll be selling packages internationally. People don't need to worry about local transport, because with one package you're able to have your accommodation sorted, you have your local transport and international transport sorted. Because we realized most of the travelers are a bit worried. They can find a very good hotel, but they want, how do I get there? So that's what we want to achieve by the end of this year. Also mentioning about Airbnb, initially when we came to this market, we realized this market wants affordable accommodation. And specifically what we've done is ensuring we bring these all-day villas, all-day homes, which are mostly on Airbnb, on board on Jumia Travel. Not only mentioning that, when you look at Kenyan statistics, for example, 51% of the travelers are family. And we have 23% travel for business. So if we leverage on this and then we combine with Airbnb, business travelers, they are not able to stay in villas. So in this case, we are trying to look at serving the customer, the end customer. We are not looking at merging directly with another online travel
any other
agent.
online agency. All right, we'll leave it there for the time being. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you very much.
Right, you've been speaking, of course, to Cyrus Onyago, who's a country manager over here for Jumia Travel Operations in Kenya.